stream, but it's okay. We're just going to keep going with that after I just did. Now, today we're watching Immortals versus CLG. It's the last game of day 2 of week 1 of the NALCS Summer Split. Really hype season, really hype match we've got here today. Immortals and CLG, two teams that are on sort of the bottom pack of the NALCS, looking to make a run, for a playoff spot, and every win counts, right? Only 8 teams can make it, which is a lot, but if you're in the bottom pack, that's pretty scary. Because that means that you could be one of the 2 teams that don't make it. But nonetheless, let's talk about these picks and bans, Tyler.
All right, yeah, and it looks like Aphelios is going to be picked up. With the Varus and Callista being banned, Aphelios is just the next logical pick. Surprised to see the Misfortune being picked, especially since Ezreal is still on the table, and Ezreal's I would say top 2 ADC right now in the ADC pool. But yeah, Aphelios picked for Altec, very reliable, as we saw last game in the late game. And on the other side, CLG picking up the Trundle, solid pick again. The hover from Immortals for Lee Sin for Potluck, and they will lock that in. That is another great counter pick into the Trundle. Really liking this MF2.
Really interesting that they're deciding. I'd be surprised here if Ica doesn't lock in the Ornn. And I'm surprised the Ornn is going this deep into the draft without being picked. And if they end up picking a Poppy or a Zillion or even a Zed over this Ornn, I might throw my keyboard. Okay, and we are going to see the Ornn lock in. Okay, very surprising to see him pick 5th in the draft so far. Of course, Aphelios getting first picked, I understand. But, especially, getting your counter pick of a jungler without, picking up the Ornn, it was a little bit surprising to me. And I guess the biggest question mark, of course, was, again, that Misfortune, picking that up over the Ezreal, or even, the Ornn itself, right, like we keep talking about here. Now, if you're CLG, you're probably going to be picking up a lane opponent. Yep, a lane opponent for the Ornn there. Aatrox versus Ornn, we see it all the time. It kind of goes either way. It really depends on how Ruin and Soaz play this matchup. If everything goes well for Soaz, he's going to solo kill him. If everything goes well for Ruin, he's going to solo kill Soaz. It could be, this lane could go many, many different ways. And now we're going into the second ban phase. Now, what bans are you expecting to see, Tyler?
Well, I'm definitely expecting to see some Enchantress bans on the side of Immortals, probably wanting to deny anything to keep that Misfortune safe. Meanwhile, on the other side, I think, they're probably going to be looking for a favorable matchup in the mid lane on CLG's side, since Pobelter, I would say, it probably has the edge against Ica in this matchup. But at the same time, CLG did just ban the LeBlanc, probably not wanting to have Wiggly be bullied by the mid laner at all, taking away a hyper-scaling mid, again, on the Immortal side, away from Pobelter, who is looking like the big carry for this CLG roster.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely having the most consistent performance in Spring Split, having a lot to prove to himself and also the league. Because if you think back, he wasn't on a team at the start of Spring, but was put onto CLG as sort of like a last-ditch effort for them. Wasn't able to produce the results, but now we're hoping that with these roster and with this roster and with these players, they're able to get some results here, and that would start with this win over Immortals, possibly. I mean, same for Immortals as well. A lot of people are doubting them now that Smithy's out of the roster, now that Hawkwell's out of the roster as well, being put on the academy squad. A lot of question marks about this team, and we're just gonna have to, a win here would shut up a lot of naysayers. As we see the Nautilus picked up for the Misfortune, that's a very, very common tandem to have in the bot lane. Hook into bullet time is just a very powerful combo, and it's good that they're letting Pobelter get the counter pick onto whatever Ica gets picked up here in the mid lane.
Absolutely, and that's 4 mid laner bans in the second phase of bans for the game in general. And it just seems like both teams know that the mid lane is such a focal point in the game, and especially in this matchup where Pobelter is the big carry for CLG, and Ica really just his job is just to stay safe and just maybe not be the carry, but be consistent. And with this rookie jungler in Potluck by his side, he also needs to be the leader in this 2v2 matchup that we're gonna see. And as the Braum gets locked in. I really like that for the Aphelios, keeping him safe. You know, like Braum passive, always good. Really good at blocking the bullet time as well. And then we also see a very like good, strong Orianna pick coming out for Ica. But it looks like there is a Diana lock-in for Pobelter. You know, he is going aggro this game against.
Yes. Pobelter's job in this mid lane matchup against Orianna is to kill Ica as many times as possible. If Pobelter doesn't get a kill onto Ica in the first 10 minutes, he is effectively losing this matchup, right? Orianna, very weak in the early game. The shield isn't that big. The damage isn't really there. And if Pobelter's able to lock on to Ica, which he can do now with the Diana changes, right? He can do that like at like level 3 or whatnot. If he doesn't get a kill, it's gonna be over for Pobelter, and he's not gonna be able to farm in that lane anymore.
Yeah, and I really like this. That's gonna force the exhaust out from Gate on Immortal's side, because you know, like Diana, if she is ahead, will have the potential to one-shot like basically 4 of the players on the Immortals roster. You know, aside from that Ornn in the top lane. But Pobelter did path towards the TP, so probably still looking to play around his team. You know, he will always be a threat to this backline of Aphelios. You know, once Diana's on this Aphelios, unless he gets flash, he's probably dead.
Right. I can only imagine CLG's like, you know, Pobelter's picking up that TP in the hopes of getting some nice, sick TP flanks, right? You imagine it, you got the 5v5 setup, Pobelter TPs into the back line and is able to just one-shot burst Ica or Altec, or even Potluck, right? So we've got, you know, a lot of different variables that are being played right now as we see CLG loads onto the Rift. I was beginning to think that we were going to have 4 players go into the bot lane, but turns out Ruin decided to hightail it up to top lane instead. As we see Smoothie. Oh, he's going to hook the wall!
Oh, and that is just not the start you were looking for. You know, although they did not know that Altec was in that bush, you know, that was for sure a hook, and still, just like, you can't be missing those.
Yeah.
This early game.
At this point, man, I'm starting to think that people just shouldn't go into that bush. Because last game, the tactical got taken very low. And this game, I mean, if that hook landed, I would believe he's dead at that point.
Yeah, and it's just really unlucky out of Smoothie to just hook the wall there.
As is tradition for us, Tyler, I gotta talk about this jungle matchup. Wiggly versus Potluck. Potluck on the Lee Sin, Wiggly on the Trundle. What are we expecting to see here?
Well, we're expecting Potluck to hopefully bring the power early to match this losing matchup in the mid lane. You know, he really has to make up for some of that, because like right now I would say if we were to put these like this 2v2 against each other, I would still give the edge to Trundle and Diana, but you know, like with the Lee Sin there, it equalizes it a little bit more. So he really needs to like watch out for Ica this game, as well as like Wiggly. He really just needs to deny like any funny business that Potluck tries to do, and you know, just wait for those mid game team fights.
Right. Wait for the mid lane team fights indeed. As I'd like to point out, like let's take a look at this bot lane. This Stixxay Smoothie Misfortune Nautilus bot lane is forcing Altec and Gate to play so safe. Smoothie lands the hook onto Gate, causing a lot of damage. It's going to take him down to half health. And see, just, you know, my point exactly. You have to give so much respect to this lane, because, you know, they're going to have advantage pretty much the entire time. It's going to be one of those games where we're waiting for Ica and Altec to get the items from the Ornn in order to do damage to this team. And if you're CLG, you're wanting to win, hey, just like Golden Guardian's last name, you're gonna want to win in this early or mid game.
Yeah, and it looks like right now in the mid lane where the lane state is, Ica is being forced to push into Pobelter as the wave bounces back towards them. You know, that's not very, it's kind of dangerous for Ica, because if Pobelter decides to freeze, that is no good for Ica. He will probably get choked out of that lane, although it does look like Pobelter will be pushing it back towards Ica. Wiggly posturing around mid lane, maybe looking for a gank.
Maybe looking for a gank indeed, as he's in the bush. Oh, we're going to see a camera pan over to Sid. They're going in on each other. Potluck's in the mid lane too, as we see Potluck going in onto Wiggly, who takes a lot of damage. Clearly something didn't go right there on that engage, as Potluck got the jump onto Wiggly. And I'm just thinking, like, at that point, dude, if you're Wiggly and you're going in on the mid lane, like, you just cleared your Raptors, you have to be expecting Potluck to have, like, cleared his Raptors as well. They're perfectly mirroring each other in the jungle right now, as Wiggly is going to bot lane. Oh, a lot of damage happening. Smoothie getting the hook onto Gay, who's forced to flash in the other direction. He had the shield kind of in the wrong way, so it wasn't really able to block anything, as Altek tries to get some reply damage as well. But that flashless Braum is a big deal, as Potluck takes advantage of Wiggly's gank in order to take this Scuttle Crab. We see the events of these actions unfold. So I can't really say if it's worth, right? Wiggly had his flash blown a hot second ago in the mid lane, but then decides to cause, Gate to get his flash blown as well.
Yeah, and it's just really smart warding from Immortals early game. You know that, like, this Diana Orianna matchup, they're gonna be looking to fight, especially Diana pre-6, and with Ica playing towards the bot side, I would have just expected that. Oh,
Potluck going in onto Wiggly, lands a Q, decides to go in. The old ancient Lee Sin adage: if you land Q, you do go in. As we see, some damage gets traded there, and Stixxay is forced to burn the heal in that situation. So good on to Potluck to cause that to happen. And as they're posturing around mid, let's see if they make looking for a dive, hoping to make a play on the Pobluck there. Let's see if he lands this Q, it's gonna happen. Oh, a lot of damage happening. Potluck gets taken really low as Ica. Oh, and they're able to complete the dive because Ica was tanking the damage there. Really good play out of Immortals, and that secures them the first blood.
Yeah, great job out of Immortals there. Pobelter probably feeling pretty safe. Ica not that high on mana. He probably can't, have any kill threat on him. But then Gate and Pollock just come out of nowhere because Ica is, taking up the tower this entire time. He just has no one to really. Does keep the flash though.
Right, and how crucial was that gank at that specific time? Because I think if Pobelter had 6, I believe Potluck and Gate were dead at that point, right? And how clutch was it that Ica was the one to get damage onto Pobelter first before Potluck did it too? Because if Potluck took the tower out aggro, that gank would have gone so terribly wrong. But
yeah, it looks like CLG is going for an early dragon here.
Good for them. Good for them. As a reply, they lost first blood, but that's okay by them. Potluck deciding not to go in on the Q, probably a good idea on his part. I acknowledge the smartness in that situation. Good for him. As we see in the mid lane, Ica has built up a substantial CS lead, and I believe mid lane, more so than any of the other lanes, is the lane you just don't want to have such a CS lead develop, right? That's why in the last couple of years you see the CS difference kind of go down and down as all the mid laners in the league try to stay even with their opponents. But in this situation, 62-43, it's not looking very good for Pobelter.
Yeah, and it looks like Pobelter is probably about a level and a half down. He did die while there's a big wave under his tower. But, I mean, I don't think all is lost for Pobelter. He is Diana. Diana does not have the most expensive build. He can still look for big plays, as Immortals are looking for a dive in the bot lane, it looks like. Maybe this blue buff from Wiggly.
Yeah, even a blue buff would be super beneficial for them. Wiggly looking to just smite it out of the way. Yep, good job, Wiggly, there.
Obviously, wasting Potluck's time.
Yeah, wasting Potluck's time as well. And it was, good on him to realize that Potluck was trying to give the blue buff to Ica, right? So Potluck couldn't smite it to kill it. So Wiggly just waited for his smite to go so that he could go forward. And it looks like we're getting a dive here in the top lane. So as having to burn the ult here, Pobelter. Ruin flashing out so that he stays alive. He's able to pick up that kill. Really good dive by CLG. Almost went really bad because Potluck was in the area. But here's the thing, Potluck hasn't hit 6 yet, and at this point, Lee Sin without his kick, I mean, it's like he's more than just blind at this point. Though he did hit 6 just now.
as they go aggro onto Smoothie in the bot lane.
Not able to hook out in time as Altec uses the bullet time just to get some damage on Altec, who flashes the dabbing penguin. Customary. I would expect nothing less. And now if you're Immortals, you're just going to push this really fat wave and back off and spend some money.
And right now it looks like Immortals has a huge tempo advantage. You know, like after that play top lane, although CLG did net a kill for Ruin, Popo there did have to reset. And even though Wiggly did steal that blue buff back to his team, Immortals still had a blue buff on their side, so Ica still got a blue buff in the end. Did not have to reset. Now you're looking at about a 20 CS lead in the mid lane, maybe looking more like 15 now, and still closer to maybe like a level ahead for Ica and Popo here now.
That's true. And now we're going to take a look at this top lane. Both flashes are down for both people.
But Aphelios is here.
Oh, Aphelios trying to make something happen here. Same level as Wiggly. Oh, actually just got a level up from clearing that ward. Looks like nothing's going to happen. Wiggly respecting the damage from Altec, who has completed boots and a BF sword. That is a big Aphelios at this point in the game. Before anyone has items or resistances or anything like that. As we see, there's a little bit of a reset going on. Gonna try and see both teams posturing up in the the top side of the map. They think it's all gonna come down, at least for the most part, into what's gonna happen at this Rift Herald, right? This first Rift Herald is gonna tell a lot about who's gonna win this game here.
Yeah, and it looks like in the top lane there's a lot of pings going down. They have a false sense of security since this Scuttle Crab is down, and Ruin is just sneaking it, but at the same time looks like they're going aggro. They're going to show that they are on the Herald.
Smoothie goes for the hook, but Potluck flashes out of it. Good on him. Good thing to point out though, Smoothie is not level 6 yet and does not currently have that ultimate. Was able to pick it up off of killing the Rift Herald, but I think, if you're Immortals, that might not have been a terrible fight to take.
But at the same time, great play out of Ruin. The Scuttle Crab was taken by Immortals, so they feel like they would know if anyone was on that Rift Herald. But instead of going bot lane to match Soaz, although he is a level down now,
Stixay with the happy feet, dodging the Q from gate there. Smoothie comes to support him now. If that was a chance there. Smoothie! Hitting the minion with the Q, and now he's just gonna get jumped on by Immortals. Too much damage. He's gonna go down. As a TP comes in, you have 4 Immortals players here. Ica's still in the mid lane, and they're able to get the kill on the Wiggly as well. 2 kills for Immortals.
Disaster for CLG. Right after I commended them, smart Rift Herald play. Smoothie misses the hook, hooks a minion. And even at the end, I don't know if you noticed, but Stixay ulted and then canceled instantly.
Yeah. A couple misplays here. Ruin diving into the turret, wants to protect the minions a little bit. I respect it, man. That's a man trying to help out his fellow minions there. Totally was not a misplay on his part. Unlike Smoothie there in the top lane with hooking the cannon minion. That's okay though. It's you live and you learn.
Yeah, and because Soaz did commit to TP for that play top, they do have a numbers advantage in the mid and bot lane right now. Probably going to force onto this dragon for CLG here and take bottom tower.
And now with that
probably trying to get the first tower gold to this.
Yeah, and when Shelly charges, yep, that's going to be first turret. Oran's probably going to trade it in the top lane. We'll have to see. But CLG is now going to get this dragon. That's going to be 2 dragons for them. As they try to push it out, make sure that Potluck's not able to queue it in. Yep, and that's going to be second Drake for CLG, looking to be in a really good spot so far in the game.
And here we get a replay. Yeah, so here, Gate just flashed, missed the Winter's Bite, Smoothie looking for a hook. Crucially, he hooked the minion, ulties Altec, but then, Potluck is here, and they know that they cannot turn this fight since Wiggly is not as strong. Stixay cancels the ulti. I don't think this TP from Ornn was needed, but better safe than sorry.
Yeah,
they get in there.
Appreciated.
They CC down the Trundle, and I think Stixay would have been dived if Pobother did not show up right there.
I agree. I'm almost interested to see. I couldn't tell. Maybe Gates' ultimate caused Stixay to cancel his ultimate. Did you see that? Or did it come after?
I'm not sure, but that would probably make more sense.
Yeah, let's just hope that was the case. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. As we see all the champions in the game sort of taking their original positions. Hey, but keep an eye on Wiggly. He's kind of looking for an in-lane gank right now. We're going to see if he's going to be able to do
But Pollock
that.
is bot lane too.
Yeah, killing that Scuttle. Wiggly in a position that IMT does not know of, but they're posturing up towards Potluck to play, more defensive. Remember, they don't have a tower there, so they're just
smell something funny, safe. Like Stixay is there alone without Smoothie. Probably a trick play coming up. Yeah. That's why Pollock stuck around bot for so.
Yeah, I saw that play coming from a mile away. Now, I'm just gonna take a holistic view of this game here. Take a look. Mid lane CS doing pretty okay now. But like I said, Pobelter not in a very good spot here. Ika's already got his first item. No, that's a very weird first item for Orianna. Not something I see a lot. Going
well, actually, in this meta, you'll see more Orianna's building that because Orianna right now isn't like her damage got nerfed kind of heavily. So at this point, she is becoming more of a utility mid laner, and her job is really just to stay alive and press that R button in fights. Like in EU, like most Oriannas now are building the Archangel staff. We saw it on Nemesis earlier today on in the Fnatic game, and looks like they're making a play on a Ruin.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I see the merits of it. Orianna historically just doesn't have a lot of mana, so building an Archangel is really nice. As Ruin is going to be caught out by Potluck, who kicks him in the face, canceling the TP. He's going to take a lot of damage there, and he's just not going to be able to handle All-Check's damage, and he's just going to be taken down. All-Check 3-0-1. That is a very big Aphelios, and Potluck is having a very good game for himself on this Lee Sin.
Yeah, really just unfortunate that like Potluck read Ruin like a book right there. I wouldn't expect anyone to just toss a Q out when you're just teleporting right there as they make a play on Ica in the mid.
Forcing Ica to blow his flash when Pobelter goes, and Pobelter will take that trade every single day of the week. Just given the cooldowns of the two abilities, as IMT clears the top lane turret, securing themselves 2 turrets to 1. Good for them. As we see, IMT is just in the driver's seat of this game, and that's just not the situation CLG wants to be in, right? If you're Pobelter and you're Diana, you need to be making plays on the map. You need to be roaming. If your mid lane matchup isn't going well, then you need to move and try to make something happen on the map, right? Staying in this Orianna lane is just not going to be the move. Ruin and Soaz skirmishing a little bit there. Nothing's going to come of it as they're just trying to clear vision for themselves. As Wiggly and Stixay begin to take this Rift Herald for themselves, kind of catching IMT on a little bit of a slower tempo, but nonetheless, Potluck and Gate are there to stop that from happening. I guess you could say that was a negate, right?
Yep, and it just looks like Immortal is going for that Rift Herald now.
Yeah.
And
that's
honestly,
gonna be
just like
the second
maintaining
Rift Herald.
control in this game.
Yeah, first one for them. Taking control of this game. Good for them. Man, that joke did not land.
Maintaining a 3k gold lead as Dragon will spawn here. CLG with 2 Drakes right now. Does have control, but it looks like they are forcing onto Wiggly. Need to stop that. Pobelter is top lane, does have the TP. Immortals uses the Rift Herald to take down that mid tower, losing some security on the side of CLG, and it looks like they just have to give up this dragon. No one is in position to contest. Ruin just backs off.
Yeah, and at this point in the game, IMT's in the driver's seat. There's really nothing CLG can do, and this is especially sad to see because we were talking about earlier, we just needed Ica and Alltech to get items in order to win this game, and we're getting to the point where they're already ahead, and they don't even have the items to like back that up. As Pobelter's clearing some minions here. He got greedy, tried to stay for a wave. Oh, dodges the dash from Soaz. Soaz drops the ultimate. Does a lot
Wiggly's
of damage on the Pobelter. Wiggly's on his way to try to help. Can he help him in time? Pobelter's really, really low. The Fire Breath comes out. I was going to take its auto attack, and Pobelter goes down.
Solo
kill. Good job, Soaz, up in the top lane. Tying up the score line of Ruin, minus an assist. And that is 6 kills to 1 for the side of Immortals. As Altec goes hard on the Smoothie. Smoothie flashes away to dodge the Altec ultimate. Almost going down there. Very scary situation. The Nautilus has a lot of CC and he's very helpful, but in turn, he's very squishy in some situations, and that was one of those situations. So if you're CLG, what do you think you need to be doing right now?
You know, you really just have to be looking plays with this Diana. Like, she has such strong kill pressure on all these key carries, whether it even be Potluck, who does have a shutdown on him. You just gotta, like, find a foothold in this game. Like, right now, Ruin, he kind of can be winning the side lane. He is a level down, but, you know, maybe picking up some more dragons, just looking for the right fights is, like, the best thing that CLG can do.
Right. Best thing that they can do indeed. Remember, they still have 2 Drakes, you know? It's only 2 Drakes away from Soul, which is something that they could grab. It's really just going to take some maneuvering on their part. And it's to this point where I look to the veterans of CLG, you know, the likes of Pobelter, the likes of Stixay and Smoothie at this point to really, you know, bring this game together. I'm imagining Soaz is doing a lot of the shot calling on Immortals right now. But I'm really hoping that the veteran status of CLG is going to, you know, if they pull forward, that's going to be how.
Yeah, and I don't think CLG is completely out of this game. They still have, like, a lot of options. MF is not an ADC you still want to be messing with in the late game. Although I will say, you know, Aphelios is probably a little bit more 1v9. But still, Pobelter and Ruin, if they're chasing down Altec, it's hard to see him surviving through all of it.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about abilities that can just completely change team fights. If you get a really good bullet time out there that can't be interrupted, you just win the team fight instantly. Kind of like an Orianna Shockwave or something like that, right? So it's yeah, CLG is definitely not out of this, but IMT is in a really good spot so far with a 2k gold lead.
Yeah, and right now Stixay is a level behind Altec, but he still has the IE and the Essence Reaver completed. I would say he's ahead of Altec as far as damage goes. You know, I don't think right now is an awful time, honestly, for CLG to look for a fight. They do have a lot of key. As they look for a fight.
Smoothie gets the hook into the bullet time, does a lot of damage on the Altec, and you see Pobelter in the back line. Dashes forward, gets the damage onto Altec, kills him. Soaz kills Potluck. Stixay kills Soaz. They get a reply kill onto Ruin, but at this point, this fight is over, and that is 3 kills for Immortals there in a very good situation as they're gonna go and try to get the Baron at this point. And it was like, just as we were saying, dude, that was the hook into the bullet time, just completely won them that fight.
Yeah, and like I was saying, those item timings, you know, 2 items on everyone on the CLG roster aside from the jungle and support. You know, a lot of damage, good mid-game spike out of CLG, bringing back the gold lead to just about 800. Prepping for this next Ocean Drake in the next 30 seconds. It's looking good. Ornal is down. Lee Sin ult is down. Ika's ult will most likely be up. Aphelios ult will be down, and so will the Braum Fissure. So just really good setup. You know, I think CLG have basically already secured this next dragon.
Right. I just want to like commend the positioning of everyone. Everyone was doing their job and what they're supposed to do. Yet Stixay in the back line, yet Smoothie protecting him and also providing the CC for him with the hook and the dredge line as well. And you had Pobelter and Ruin coming at IMT from 2 different angles, right? Pobelter from the bottom side, Ruin from the top side, and they were able to really sandwich Immortals into an unfavorable position. As Immortals makes a cheeky play here, waiting in the bush.
That was-
Stixay is not going to be fooled by that though, so good for him.
That was interesting out of CLG not opting to go for the dragon. Maybe looking just to fake out Immortals, maybe for a Baron take, but Immortals don't fall for it. They just, cleared the vision now that CLG is backed up and given them the ground, and Rune is just free pushing the side lane.
Yep, free pushing the side lane, trying to get some damage onto this bottom tier 2 turret. But that's going to be stopped by Soaz, who's pretty tanky at this point. Remember, the gold is even, but it's IMT who is still ahead here just because of the Ornn items that these players are able to build, right? We're going to see an upgraded Infinity Edge probably here shortly for Altec. We're probably going to see an upgraded, I believe you can get an upgraded, well, you're definitely going to get an upgraded Morellonomicon, right? But I think the
no, actually that's not an item. I think Ica is passing towards a Zonia's Hourglass right now, which would be a great item against this Diana, and that'll be something that can be upgraded.
Yeah, I would imagine he tries to pick something or pick something up from the shop that can be upgraded to really use the Ornn item shop effectively. Which of course puts them ahead. As we see, Potluck kicks Stixay in the face, but unfortunately that was the wrong direction, and you have 2 ultimates down on the side of Immortals that they cannot use anymore.
That was actually a really great flash out of Stixay to redirect the kick from Lee Sin so that he is not put in danger.
Yeah, good timing onto him, because that could have been very bad. If that Misfortune goes down, there's a lot of things that are live on the map right now, including Baron, including a mid, that mid tier 2 could have been taken. Really good flash out of Stixay to make sure that doesn't happen.
And if I'm CLG right now, I honestly would be stalling. Ruin has hit that 2-item power spike on Aatrox that he can now probably effectively 1v1 this Ornn to an extent. You really do want to hit that level 16 on Pobelter and just wait for that Stixay flash to come up if you can before the next big fight.
Yeah, you want it. Yeah, level 16 power spike for Pobelter is really big, especially since Altec's still level 13. He's really squishy right now, and he's not super well built at the moment. So getting a kill onto him, shutting him down immediately when the fight starts, is going to be Pobelter's job here. I'm looking at the Mortals roster here. A lot of them are pretty squishy at this point. Gate's pretty squishy. Potluck is very squishy. Opting not to go with the tanky Lee Sin build, and we're just going to reach a point in this game where that Lee Sin's going to get one shot.
Yeah, and a second ago we saw the gold graph there, and although the gold is even, maybe a little bit CLG sided, we did see that the key carries of Pobelter and Stixay are ahead of their respective counterparts on Immortal side by about 500 to 1,000 gold each.
Right, and that makes a big difference. That's a difference in you have one of your components for your next item or something like that, right? And when the game gets this close, it's all about the stats and numbers. As we see, Immortals is getting a free push onto this mid tier 2, catching a
TP out of Pobelter, maybe looking for a play right here.
Yeah, as we see, look at the minimap, they're completely surrounded
down.
here. We're going to be going in. Bullet Time's going to catch 3. Ornn ult going out. Going to stop Ruin on the side there. Stixay is going to be killing Gate.
And a flash out of Ruin onto Altec, shuts him down.
Misfortune killing Ica there. Then that's going to be a 3-for-0 trade on the side of CLG. Really good play for them, doing exactly what they need to do, as they're going to try to clean this up and get rid of Soaz as well. And I think Pobelter is starting the Baron right now. Yep. That
Great flank out of Pobelter.
Yeah, and Ruin as well. It's an exact rinse and repeat of the last fight that we saw, showing this is what CLG's plan is. They want a team fight. They want to catch Immortals lacking, and if you get surrounded like that, there's really little you can do.
Yeah, just great wraparound on the side of CLG. We saw Wiggly. Oh, we're about to get a team fight.
Yeah, break this down, Tyler.
So Wiggly uses the pillar, stops really the escape path through the jungle, And so that's where Pobelter is. Maybe not the most favorable thing, but the key thing is Smoothie gets a huge knockup, 4-man with his ult. Stixay gets another 4-man ulti, gets blocked a little bit, but you know, Ruin does get the flank. He zones off 3 people. Pobelter does still have ulti, flashes forward to get it down on another 3 people. At this point, Soaz is just separated from Potluck. Potluck gets out since he is headed toward his base, but you know, Soaz is just forced into this direction and you know, is forced to just die here.
Yeah, that's going to be a Baron for CLG, which really turns the game on his head now, as we're getting to a point where these late game, you know, characters are coming online, and this Misfortune is really big at 4-0 and 3.
Yeah, and on 3 BF items. Oh, but Wiggly does walk into a bush and is forced to burn the flash.
Unfortunate for him, but not the worst thing in the world. It would have been worse for him to die with that Baron buff. Now if you're CLG, you're just wanting to spread this lead. You do have Ruin in the top lane, who is unanswered right now, and it seems like Immortals is looking for a fight. Yes, they are. As Soaz goes in.
He's coming in.
Rune's TPing
Pollock goes down already. Pobelter blows up all tech.
And Gate's going to go down. Smoothie hooking forward. Going to be killing Ica. That's a double kill for Pobelter. He's now positive. That Diana's online at this point, and that's 4 dead Immortals members. And now they're just going to get free push. And what's even more crazy about that fight is that no one on CLG died.
Yeah,
so
and it looked really Immortal-sided after some initial collapsing and poking out of the side of Immortals. But at the end of the day, it's just Pobelter has hit the 3-item power spike on this Diana, where, like, you know, a Felly Altec is not safe in these fights.
Right, he's not. He's just gonna get dove on every single time. Ruin, nice leap out of there. Stop the, you know, Soaz dash. And playing a little game of chicken there, indeed. As we're gonna get a replay to see this happen. So Potluck is on the top side. Keep an eye on him. Gets the kick onto Smoothie. A lot of damage goes onto him.
Yeah, looking really good for Immortals, but Pollock is just so squishy, gets blown up. Pobelter gets the ult across the wall, and with Rune coming in, you know, Ica's forced to back up. He didn't really go for a really high damage-oriented build. And, you know, like, if Altec is dead, all is lost for this Immortals roster.
Right. It seems like all of their marbles are in one bag at this point. Ica's not at the point where he can do enough damage with this Orianna. 2 items is a lot, but it's not enough. At least for the Shockwave to be super effective. At this point, the Shockwave is just really good CC. Because of how tanky Smoothie, Wiggly, and Ruin are. And also Pobelter, you know, in some aspects as well. So it's just, you got a really tanky CLG, and the only one that's going to be able to take them down is Altec at this point. As we see Ruin taking down the mid tier 2 turret. And the top tier 2 turret is likely to follow as well. And now let's check out this Misfortune here. 5-0 and 5 this is a really big Misfortune, really good game out of Stixay so far. And we look at, you know, a player like Stixay, a player that hasn't seen much success recently, but at one point was one of the best ADCs in the region, you know, performing, showing a really good game here on the Misfortune.
Yeah, good to see some signs of life out of the CLG roster after a disastrous spring split. 10th place, like 3rd time, I think, in the last, you know, across the last 3 years. And yeah, it's just really nice. You know, CLG has been like trading pieces in and out for so long, and you know, they've just been waiting to find some success and actually like set up to like maybe pick up a win in this first.
Right, and it's gonna be interesting to see if they can do that. IMT not in the best position, but also not completely out of the game as well. There are still ways that they can get back into this if they decide, if they should play it that way, right? Yeah, points of interest for them. Potluck, Stu doing really well. If he gets a really good, you know, Lee Sin kick onto Stixay, that'd be really big for them. As you know, we talk about, you know, Altec as being the only hope for Immortals. Stixay is kind of Stixay is a big point for CLG too. If Stixay were to go down early in a fight, I doubt CLG would be able to win it.
Yeah, but we cannot deny the power of Pobelter and Ruin right now. Both, Ruin almost at 4 items. Pobelter already on 4.5 items. You know, he is just like a monster, and without like proper peel, I do not think that Altec can survive. It would really take a good Brommel and a exhaust out of gate to keep Altec alive.
Really big fight about to happen here. Let's hope
Ocean
Immortals
Soul on the line.
Ocean Soul on the line as Potluck misses the flash, so Stixay picks it up. And that's soul point, or that's going to be the soul for CLG, as so many members of Immortals are just going down. That is 3 Immortals members dead, as Soaz and Ica are going to be the only ones left alive. Soaz is going to be dead now. As we see Pobelter TPing into the base, the bot lane is free, and it looks like that's going to be how they win this game. Pobelter going in on the Ica, backs off. He's got the rest of his team with him, no need to rush. And now they're going to push into this Nexus turret, and that is going to be CLG's first win of the summer split.
Halfway there from spring split, baby.
Halfway there, hey. Only if they get 2-0 next week. Wiggly, okay, diving in. He's going to get shut down.
Thank goodness he's not on my fantasy roster.
Thank goodness he's not on my fantasy roster. Really, really good game out of CLG. Yeah, it was a little dicey in the beginning, but I'm glad that they could bring it back. Really good play for them. All right,
CLG piecing together this win. Hopefully, can bring in more wins in the weeks to come. Excited to see what they can bring.
Me too. I'm excited. It would be nice to see these players return to their former glory. It's kind of a weird situation where CLG's got a really stacked roster, a roster that you would expect to be really good, but for some reason wasn't able to put it together. Maybe they can rally after this win and really show up here at the NALCS Summer Split. Well, that's going to conclude our day of casting and broadcasting from Tyler and I. We really appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to tune in next week. We're going to cast those games as well. Again, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time.